I'm a Venice, California-born, Los Angeles-based sports fan, one that has played, coached, announced, and promoted sports my whole life. My love affair with sports started in my own backyard and has led me to this podcast. Thanks to the support of the Amateur Athletic Union in East Bay, I'm excited to bring you Sports Stories with Denny Lennon. Hello and welcome to Episode 8 of Sports Stories with Denny Lennon. We want to give our listeners and viewers a heads up. After this episode on AAU Taekwondo National Chair Bobby Stone, and the next episode on AAU Second Vice President and Gymnastics legend Joe Gura, there'll be an Episode 10 recap special. Episode 10 will account for the various stories, guests, and topics that resonated most with our audience so far, and will also preview the holiday season and the 2020 plans for Sports Stories. We appreciate everyone that's visited our website at sportsstoriespodcast.com, left us comments and reviews, and of course, we very much appreciate all our subscribers. One of our fans who wrote into the website, Chris Bible of Long Beach, California, commented on Episode 7's guest, Charles Oliver. Coach O's story was very inspirational. I was especially drawn to his start in running with those foot races on his block in Georgia. I was also intrigued by your story, Denny, and about the volleyball tournament on your block in Venice. I saw the pictures and video on YouTube, and that event looked awesome. Thanks for reaching out, Chris. Well, that event was the legendary Venice Backyard Championships, and we hope to tell that sports story someday soon. My first memories of martial arts were of Bruce Lee, a legendary martial art master that embodied athleticism, discipline, and self-control. Lee proved his likability to American audiences in the mid-1960s TV show The Green Hornet, where he played Kato, the Green Hornet's faithful valet, who's a kung fu expert and drives the sleek Black Beauty, the Hornet's well-armed car. I love Bruce Lee in movies like Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon in the early 1970s. Then along came a show that would become an all-time TV classic, Kung Fu, which ran on ABC from 1972 to 1975. The story of a Shaolin monk, Kwai Chang Caine, that had left China for America under duress, wandering through the mid-19th century Old West, right around the time of our 13th and last Whig Party president, Millard Fillmore, was in office. Chang was kicking butt and taking names in the name of righteousness and justice in the Wild West. And who, you ask, played the lead role of the Chinese martial arts master? That would be David Carradine, a white guy? Apparently, Bruce Lee was too Chinese to play a guy from China. I guess it didn't matter that Lee came up with the concept for the show, or maybe it was because Bruce lost a little credibility when he was thrown into the side of a car by that pretty boy Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Thanks a lot, Tarantino. Anyhow, when I began coaching in the 1980s at St. Mark's School in Venice, California, I had a number of teams to fill and only a few students. I was constantly on the lookout for all-around athletic kids that could play multiple sports. Time and again, I was impressed by the students that, outside of school, took some form of martial arts. Singer Joe Esposito was so inspired by a certain Karate Kid that he sang a song about the best around, Daniel LaRusso, who made huge strides under Mr. Miyagi. Napoleon Dynamite's brother Kip took it up a notch when he took lessons in Taekwondo. The last one's worth looking up. The link's on our site. Among the traits that all students of the martial arts share are discipline and self-control, which translate not only to success in sports, but in life. Today's guest, AAU Taekwondo National Chair Bobby Stone, like many of our guests, first was a decorated athlete, then went on to serve the community and help move young people forward through sports. The traits Bobby developed in himself and now encourages in his athletes are vital to success in both competition and in life. Stone began competing in martial arts in 1986, winning multiple awards at both the state and national levels. As an instructor, he has trained numerous national junior Olympic champions. A graduate of Georgia State University, he's invested in his community, opening the multi-sport complex Dacula Family Sports in 2004, serving on the local middle and high school councils, and climbing the AAU ladder, from a regional chair to the Georgia District Director to winning the district's Volunteer of the Year award, then a seat on the National Executive Committee, and finally the head job as a national chair for AAU Taekwondo. Among his many accomplishments within the sport and community, Bobby is most proud of his family and his role as a husband and father. The legendary teacher and UCLA basketball coach John Wooden talks about working with athletes and children when it comes to self-control and discipline.
You have to keep your emotions under control to function well, physically, in whatever you're doing. But how about mentally? Decisions you have to make. How many of you have children at home, little children? They cry out for discipline, you know, not punishment, discipline. They want discipline. They want discipline. And discipline is to help, it's to prevent, it's to correct, it's to improve, it's not to punish. Be careful. Be careful. Don't antagonize. If you antagonize in your discipline, it might not bring the type of results that you'd like for it to have. But I think we all, even as we get older, we need discipline in certain areas, maybe in different areas than others, but it must be done with self-control. If you lose your self-control, I don't see there's any way that you can attain positive, productive results. So it's so important that you maintain self-control in the physical things you do and the mental decisions that you must make.
Well, now that I've dropped Bruce Lee, the Green Hornet, the Black Beauty, the American Louis Philippe, David Carradine, Brad Pitt, Quentin Tarantino, Joe Esposito, Daniel LaRusso, Mr. Miyagi, Napoleon Dynamite, Kip, and Rex Kwon Do, Bobby, don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day. Besides, we both know I'm training to become a cage fighter. From the AAU Leadership Convention at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Orange County, California, here's my Sports Stories interview with the National Chair of the AAU Taekwondo, Bobby Stone. All right, good to go. How was the flight?
Excellent.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was nice coming in from Reno, not too bumpy.
And you went to LAX?
Yeah, I did.
How was that drive? Tell me a little about the drive from LAX down in here to Orange County.
It wasn't so bad today. I had been in LA a little bit longer earlier this week, and it was much worse. Traffic, it's just further than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be, traffic-y, but it was an hour anyway.
You know what? I blame the LA Angels because they're down here in Anaheim, and they confuse the rest of the country by calling themselves the LA Angels.
Right. Yeah, it's not LA here.
It's not LA.
No.
It isn't. People think that it's that kind of close, and it's just not. It's like, Disneyland's a little bit of a drive.
I didn't even know Disney World was out here, so that's good now that I've been informed. It makes sense now.
They built it up. So, yeah, you got Disneyland, and they built it 2 other theme parks, I think, now. So they're getting after it.
All
so,
right.
out from Georgia.
I am.
That's
I'm
where you
from
grew
Atlanta.
up?
It is for the primary.
Yeah, and how'd the parents get there?
My folks moved there because my dad was working for Roadway Express. Which is a freight company.
Okay.
And he still does that in logistics format now, but that's where they moved all around there. So.
And so he continued to that. And did your mom work?
She did. She was in CAD systems, so computer-aided software systems, so she did all of that. And now
nice.
Mom's retired, but Dad's still going.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have siblings?
I have one. She lives in Austria.
Austria.
Yeah.
Wow. What brought her over there?
She was doing investment banking.
Okay.
And so now she does a little bit of that, and she coaches TED Talks.
Is that right?
For Germans that are trying to do TED Talks in English and that kind of thing.
That's an interesting gig.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's
and then did you grow up where – because I take it you live in Dacula now?
I do.
And did you grow up near there? How do you say it?
Dacula.
Dacula.
Like Dracula, no R, but it's how it's spelled. But, yeah, it's Dacula.
Dacula.
I did not. I grew up in Gwinnett County, which is a part of where Dacula is. But I was probably about 15 miles from where I am now, where I went to high school.
What like middle school, high school?
I did. I went to Shiloh Middle, Shiloh High School.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Very Southern.
Yeah. No, it's I always am interested in origin stories, and also I think it's important you give a shout out to those. To your
I'm proud of where I came from.
Yeah.
Obviously, I live not too far from there. Just we have I have my own facility there, which we do gymnastics, cheerleading, dance, martial arts, after school program. So it just happened to be where the land was available, an up-and-coming area at that time.
Got it.
So that's how I got there.
Did you get involved in sports in high school or middle school? Or?
I did. I've actually I was involved primarily in martial arts and individual sports. I did a little bit of track coming up, a little bit of baseball, but I was always drawn to martial arts. It's such an individual experience. But competing in AAU, AAU Karate first, and then AAU Taekwondo as it
Wow.
came back in. So I competed in AAU Karate for probably 3 or 4 years before Taekwondo came back in.
How old were you when you started doing AAU?
I think about 13.
Wow, is that right?
Yeah, so it'd be 30 years.
What got you involved in martial arts in the first place?
I was a little hyper when I was a kid and liked to fight. So they thought it would calm me down, and it did. And then they got
Sure.
me that that aspect of being physical as a
Yeah.
kid. That I don't think you get enough, you get it in a safe environment.
No
So
doubt.
I think at that time I was doing that because my parents thought it would be a really good outlet for me. Turned out it was.
I was drawn to it. I didn't compete in it, but I was drawn to it out of popular culture,
Okay.
like Kung Fu.
Right.
Big time for me. I loved Kung Fu. I liked how they cast David Carradine instead of Bruce Lee for that spot. What were they? And then that Hong Kong Fooey. I got a kick out of that cartoon.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my entry into martial arts as a youngster.
I think, hey, there's an argument to be made that a lot of those things did more for martial arts as far as the growth of
Awareness.
it. If you look
Sure.
back at it, that people look back on things and go, oh, that's this or that. But they did a lot for the growth. I mean, I did Karate Kid and Ninja Turtles and all that kind of stuff coming up a little bit after that.
Now, the karate AAU hosted events. Where would you belong to like a dojo or something along those lines, and they would place you in, or did you sign up individually, or how did you get involved?
It was part of my instructors.
Right. Okay.
We were Taekwondo Karate, which is a little weird. My school, original school, was called Southern Taekwondo Karate, and it really was a blend of Taekwondo and Karate because it had come up with the two sides kind of coming in there. So the patterns that we do are old Karate forms. So they're.
Okay.
There's a Taekwondo version of it's really Tongsudo patterns, but they're old traditional Okinawan forms, and so that we fit really nicely into karate.
Oh, nice. Now, was this around? I guess that was 1986 or so when you first started doing Taekwondo. I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, so probably that sounds about right. Yeah.
Were you in college at this time or beyond that?
Oh no, in '86.
Oh no, at 86.
No. I'm 43.
Okay.
So
all right.
I was born in '76.
So that would be me in college.
So yeah, I was 10 when I started doing karate.
So that's 86.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. And then, did I read somewhere you Georgia State?
I did. I graduated from Georgia State.
There it is.
That was college number 5.
Okay. Yeah.
I just like visiting them.
I'm still doing them. Yeah. So tell me more. You mentioned the family sports complex.
Yep.
And there's got to be some challenges there that go beyond just operating the classes.
Sure. I think, from now, 15 years we've been open, and the challenge is the staffing, I think, and evolving parent.
Yes.
The parent of 15 years ago is totally different from the parent that we deal with in today.
Right.
What the kids are trying to get out of it is totally different. You used to have a consistent kid coming in that was always looking to elevate in the sport. Now parents are not necessarily looking for that. They're looking to check that my kid did this sport or did that sport or did this. So the longevity constantly changes. We used to have an average lifespan of a gymnast would be like 18 months if they weren't going to continue to progress on to upper levels. And that's probably more like 12 now. So you're always looking for those ways to bring in the other aspects of sport, life lessons that they learn as opposed to just the athletic skill.
You seem to have a pretty strong communication line built up through that. Just in us doing research and stuff,
Sure.
I was impressed. Like, you get the word out.
We
and
try.
You give clear expectations. And it seems to emanate from the whole idea of, especially in martial arts, of that self-discipline. There's also clear direction of where you're going.
I think to me, the most important pieces of what we do is the integrity that we bring and that self-discipline to keep that integrity that pushes the sport forward and pushes what we're trying to do in AAU Taekwondo. That keeps it important, but in particular those two aspects.
I always bring Coach Wooden into conversations, and so he talks about like self-control regardless of what we're doing, and whether it involves physical act or a mental decision, that it's always got to maintain and push towards producing that desired result.
Right.
And I would imagine, because I've coached several sports but never the martial arts, I would imagine you really have more kind of control of that mental process through the martial arts because it requires so much of their attention.
Yeah, I think it's an innate part of martial arts. So we're striving it from day one. The control of it is always an interesting aspect as you control anything.
Sure.
If you tried to hold too tight of it, it squeeze out, that kind of thing. But I think because it's such an integral part of day one, our tenets in Taekwondo, for example, courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit. We say those things from day one every time we come into class. We talk about what they mean and why we're doing them, and that's that life skill. Because self-discipline, of course, is what ultimately will help us all succeed.
No doubt. You you're involved in your community a little bit.
I am. I try to be.
I was looking at your file. It's like every local school council in your neighborhood. And you got your national chair now for Taekwondo. You got your facility.
I do.
There might be like a neighboring district that could use some of your help. Got any free time?
All right. Well, I'm donating all my free time to AU Taekwondo, and then some. It's taken up some of my. We set up our business, and my wife is very involved in teaching, or certainly managing the gym.
Sure.
And so that's enabled me to give me some more time to do what I'm doing here. I stay involved with our community. There's a piece of that is important for our business, but it's more important because that's where my family is, and that's where my community is. That's my home, so I will continue to be involved and help in any way I can and contribute.
2 children?
I have 2. Yep.
Yeah.
115, 112.
Oh, look out! You're right in it.
One martial artist, one gymnast. So
love it.
By the grace of God, we have 2 kids that do 2 things that are at our business. So
you get known more as your kid's parent than you are as your own
at
identity,
home,
right?
Yeah, it's a little strange. I go out into all of the functions that we're doing as AU National Chair now.
Sure.
And everybody's wanting to talk to me, but when I come home, they always want to talk to Robert's dad or Elizabeth's dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's good.
That is good.
That's exciting.
That is good.
As I've told them, they're the only 2 people in the world that get to call me dad. So
that's right. That is.
You're
it
very
is
special.
a special bond, and I, mine are 27, 24 now, and it's still a fun time of life. But I really miss all other parts.
I can't imagine.
It was a blast. Even getting caught in LA traffic all the time, was a thing. So I've been to Atlanta a few times.
Okay.
You're right outside of Atlanta, right?
I am.
Do you
Speaking of
like?
traffic.
It seems like every street title has peach in it.
It does.
Okay.
Especially downtown.
And then how about the varsity? Like, better chili dog somewhere else? I would imagine people might know, like you.
Ooh. So I don't eat chili dogs.
Oh, okay.
And I had varsity when my parents first moved to Atlanta. My dad wanted to take us to a Braves game and to the varsity, and he thought that was the big thing. And it's just a lot of grease.
Yeah, well, which was.
But it's very popular, and they have the best ice. And I've ever, which is a weird thing.
That
is
weird.
Their ice and their drink, it's like some sort of shaved, weird kind of ice. So it's really good. So I've often stopped by there just to get a drink. And they have this orange drink that's very specific to them. So
tell me a little bit about the AAU Taekwondo program. I mean, did you have some affinity only because you had that background as a youth in karate?
Yeah. Well, I had, again, so I could.
For AAU.
Yeah, sure. I was AAU karate until I believe it was 92 when AAU Taekwondo was a demonstration sport. I happened to be competing AAU karate at the Junior Olympics that year, and I signed up on spot to come into AAU Taekwondo.
Oh, look out.
So literally I've been an athlete or a referee or a coach or whatever since the day it started.
Oh, that's
it was
wonderful.
Original here.
Oh, wow.
So I've been a part of AAU Taekwondo since its inception, acceptance back into AAU.
Okay.
So
and I noticed something. It looks like you might be starting Paralympic division.
We're super excited about the Taekwondo division. It's one of those things that I think is just makes people feel good. It makes people. It's a really good way to promote what we're doing and the integrity piece, a part of that, and what we can do, hand out. We are going to kick that off at the end of this month and are at Disney's ESPN Wild World of
Right,
Sports.
at the martial arts showcase.
Martial Arts Festival.
Now,
International Martial Arts Festival.
There's somebody who's training that I came into contact with, Austin Osner.
Yes, sir.
Yep, and really impressive. And You know, I was talking to him briefly on the phone, and I said something about, you seem pretty able-bodied to me. It looks like you're the number one ranked kid in the 14s. He's outstanding. Have you got a chance to see him compete?
You know, I haven't yet because it's not been a division that we host. So we're excited. He's going to come down to the International Martial Arts Festival there, along with one of his teammates, and then we're actually going to be featuring a big performance up on the ESPN2 Live.
Look out. That is awesome. Yeah, I heard a little bit about that. Okay. I'm going to give you some tough questions here.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay, sure.
First, I want to give you an opportunity. Tell me a little bit about taking over as a national chair. Now, I have some experience with this, being close to the volleyball and so forth. But there's a lot of responsibilities that come with that go well beyond just being part of the AAU locally.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I was part of the executive committee and for about 8 years and traveling a lot with it. But the piece that I wanted to bring to what we're doing is the relationship building that wasn't happening anymore, and that going out. And so for me, it's been a lot of traveling, a lot of showing up, shaking hands, and just talking about what we're doing and building the program. And we saw some growth last year, which is exciting.
Yeah.
We had our largest nationals since 2004.
Oh, brilliant.
We're having more events than we've ever had. So there's a lot of really good things. I guess if there was one thing that I wasn't prepared for was the social media interaction, which has been really big for us. But then it's such an instant, tangible piece directly to
no doubt
to me, and that so you get messages all the time.
Oh,
and
yeah. And
so if there.
You got to respond all the time.
Yeah,
That's
I try to really be open and promote what we're doing and be a good ambassador of that. Even then when I get the message at 1 a.m.
Yeah, of course. Tell me what districts are doing well.
Well, right now our largest district is Metropolitan.
Okay.
It has well over 1,000 members. They had a tournament that was over 1,000.
Oh, nice.
We have big districts out in obviously Florida. We were in Florida a long time for our national championship. Was there for about 13 years. California is seeing huge growth.
Is it? Okay.
Huge
That's
growth.
good to hear.
And that's why I was on the West Coast already. Before this week started to promote more, and then I'll be going out and going to Vegas and going back and forth because our nationals will be in Vegas next year.
You're at that point now, it seems like in your career, maybe you've been moving there, where you're more than just the direct coach, master towards a smaller amount, but you're making an impact on many more from a distant level.
Sure.
And that's a little more, I found a little more difficult when I became more of an administrator because that interaction is really important with young athletes.
Right.
But then, you got to feel proud that the program's growing.
Yeah, I mean, I have a unique advantage here because we have 3 national teams. We have an Olympic sparring national team, we have a point sparring national team, and we have a Sport Pumse national team. Those kids our Olympic team has about 68 members, and our point sparring has about 25, and our Sport Pumse has about 6. But those kids I'm able to interact with directly a lot because we're traveling internationally. Next weekend we'll be in Montreal.
Oh, look out.
At the Canadian Open with the team. And then we've got trips planned to La Loma, Mexico, and then also a couple other places.
That's great because you really are putting them kind of in this arena, on an Olympic track.
Yeah, no, I mean, our whole goal is to create opportunities and provide a better environment than's been out there.
One of the things I was interested in, and pardon my ignorance, but can you explain the different disciplines, I guess? Like I noticed weapons, open hand.
Sure.
And whatever else those are.
Yeah, so for us, there's at our national championships, we have Olympic sparring, which is the sport Taekwondo that's in the Olympics,
that
right?
you see in the Olympics.
Okay. Then there is point sparring, which is a more traditional approach. It has hands to the head, that kind of thing. It's a total different light contact. They're going to wear hand pads and foot pads. Not much electronics involved. And then we have a forms competition, which is with traditional patterns competition, which is, again, forms patterns that come from traditional martial arts, which would be ITF, WTF, and Tang Soo Do. So ITF being International Taekwondo Federation, WTF, World Taekwondo. And then we have a weapons division, which is traditional. And then we have one that is creative, which we allow the weapon to leave the hand or them to become inverted, i.e. flip backwards, and that kind of thing as part of the pattern. And then we have some demo team competition. And then finally we have Sport Pumse competition, which is a compulsory
Got it.
much like a gymnastics floor routine, but it's compulsory, the elements.
You're also working on having a better relationship with USA Taekwondo.
Yes, we've.
Because that's it's important.
Yeah, I think they've been very helpful, and we're trying to create that relationship and try to realize that I think that while we're all trying to maybe after the same athlete to some extent, their job really is that very top. And our job is really to create opportunities for the kids to become those athletes.
And to get to there.
Yes, and to get there. And we're certainly supportive. We will take another team, about 70 people, to the U.S. Open as well, which is run by the NGB. And, we're participating, and we have a very good working relationship with them right now.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Doing good work.
We're trying.
It's nice that you're getting so many kids involved in something so positive, too. I think that's the thing that's kind of overlooked is it's not – just the end game where they're doing well, but it's the everyday game of being prepared, of being on time, of exhibiting those traits that you talked about. I mean, that's really important, man. That's really important. Okay, now you got to answer some tough questions. You ready?
Right,
what was your phone number as a kid?
Oh my, hold on. I don't know.
I got you
I have
there.
no idea.
Wow. All right, good. How about your first pet's name?
Dixie.
Nice. Favorite sport to play?
Oh, still martial arts.
Okay.
Taekwondo.
What is your favorite sport to watch?
Favorite sport? Ooh. I love watching tennis, actually. Weirdly, and
nice.
I think it's there's some martial arts elements with the way they stand, move, and it's fast and it's strong. If I had to pick one to watch on TV.
Nice.
And I love the New Orleans Saints.
That's your team? I was going to you beat me to this. What's your favorite sports team ever?
Oh, it has to be the New Orleans Saints because I grew up a Cajun boy. So I've been going to the Saints games since I was a boy.
Favorite movie ever?
Favorite movie? Got to be Braveheart.
Nice. That's a good pull. Favorite band?
Favorite band, Aerosmith.
Nice. All right, favorite board game?
Favorite board game. There's not a wrong answer here. I like Sorry.
The first time we've heard that one. It's a good pull. Okay, here we go. Mayo or Miracle Whip?
Mayo.
Tacos or burgers?
Burgers.
Cake or a pie?
I like cookies.
I don't know if you drink beer or a cocktail.
I like scotch.
Ice cream. Nice. He's giving us some good original answers. Ice cream or frozen yogurt?
Frozen yogurt, probably.
Bacon or sausage?
Bacon.
Cats or dog guy?
I have 3 dogs and 2 cats, but I'm a dog guy. By far.
All right.
Dogs are the only thing you can lock them in the trunk of the car, and they're still happy when you open it.
Yeah, that's right. No, they always forgive you. They don't even remember.
Unconditional
They're
love.
so happy. They're like, oh, you came back.
Unconditional love.
Spiders, do you kill them or do you put them outside?
I kill them.
Okay, fair enough. Now we're going to do a pop culture quiz.
Okay.
And it could be from any era.
Okay.
On anything.
All right.
Who knows? So Marley spins the dial and finds out. Do you know what we're doing?
Yeah, I'm going to spin the dial right now. We're going to find out. Oh, it's a good one.
What is it?
It's Magnum PI.
You got to be kidding.
Magnum PI.
Magnum PI, 1980 to 88.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
That ran on CBS.
Okay.
You remember? Do you remember? He was
I know
it was a warrior.
Wasn't that Tom Selleck?
Very good. He's off to a good start.
All right.
Now, we just happen to have these pop culture rings.
Okay.
And these rings, they across the St. Lorraine, and they would protect soldiers while they're in battle.
Okay.
You see?
All right.
And so they could bring you maybe a little bit of good luck there.
All right.
And I'm pumping the show.
Okay.
All right. So Thomas Sullivan Magnum the Fourth. He had some buddies, Rick and TC, and they all got together as a special forces unit in what war? They all hung out in
Vietnam?
Hawaii later. Vietnam. Boom, right out of the gate, nailed it. What branch of the military did Magnum come from?
Navy.
He's on fire. All right, Magnum played 2 sports at Navy, at the Naval Academy. Do you know what those sports were?
Football.
Man, he's on fire.
And basketball.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. There's only one person who's gone perfect on the quiz, and that's the president of the AAU.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you are in rare ground.
Like second place.
Yeah, you already got that wrapped up, but I know that this guy's probably risen to higher heights. Okay, now this one's a tough one.
All right.
And believe it or not, Dr. Gowdy pulled this one out.
Okay.
All right, the major domo that controlled the place was Higgins, Higgy baby,
Okay.
Jonathan Quayle Higgins. He had 2 dogs. They're Doberman pinchers that would patrol the place. You got to name those 2 dogs.
I don't know, Frou and Fluffy. I have no idea.
They're Apollo and Zeus. But
Okay.
you killed.
All
You're
right.
way closer than anybody else on this. Congrats, man. You're
I'm
killing
not
it
normally
there.
happy with second, but I'll take it. I mean, I think
Especially
I
with
was
Dr.
like,
Gowdy. That is solid.
I'm pretty sure I was in elementary school with Magnum PI. Was all.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Well, hey, congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
good
you.
to see, and I certainly look forward to seeing more growth in the program.
Yeah.
And thanks for being on the show, man.
Much appreciated.
Right
Much
on.
appreciated. Thank
All
you
right,
so
buddy.
much.
Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is supported by the AAU. Find a local event and join at aausports.org. And remember, you can catch your favorite amateur sports live stream, replays, and highlights at ballertv.com. Sports Stories, along with East Bay, supports the Heroes Movement, a nonprofit that bridges the gap from mental or physical therapy to getting strong again through strength and conditioning workouts. This free service is available for any veteran of the United States Armed Forces. Visit heroesmovementusa.org for more information. Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is a production of Sports Stories, Inc. and is available on Apple Podcasts and YouTube or wherever you listen and watch. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and give us a review. It really helps spread the word. You can find all our social media links, archives, and other info on our website at sportsstoriespodcast.com. Original music for Sports Stories is courtesy of Lennon Music Productions. Special thanks to the John R. Wooden Course and Wooden's Wisdom. Sports Stories staff includes Marley Rice, Teresa Dolan, Bob McCall, Michael Lennon, Sienna Lennon, Brad Lawson, Christine Jimbo, and Jake Downey. Now it's time to go to Coach's Corner, where one of our valued subscribers reads one of Coach John Wooden's favorite poems.
Hey, this is Jim Stevens from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm loving the podcast so far, Denny. Great stories. The poem I chose to read is Meditation by Shannon Hughes. Meditation. As daylight fades and twilight approaches, swift and steady night soon encroaches. So seize this moment and contemplate your next. What will you do with the moments you have left? For no gravestone should ever eulogize the death of great dreams unrealized.
If any one of our listeners would like to read one of Coach Wooden's favorite poems for a future show, go to our website at sportsstoriespodcast.com and click on the Coach's Corner link. As always, we leave you with a song from the band Venice.
Devil with a wish, I would hop the pearly gates, sell my soul to bribe the saints. You can bet your wings I'd do all this for a kiss. On the lips. Were a knight in shining armor, well, I would be the damsel in distress. Well, I'd let the dragon capture me so you could come to rescue me. Well, I would have no problem doing this, all for a kiss. in a casket. Well, I would love to meet you in the mist. Well, I'd keep the garlic far away, drink all night and sleep all day. I am not afraid to do all this for a kiss. On the neck. Oh yeah, for a kiss. There'd be no doubt about it. On the lips, well, I'd swim the 7 seas. Oh, for a kiss, well, I just can't do without it. On the lips, one kiss is all I need.
Kick it out, Book!